Actman's Report, February 16th, 2017. 8 years. 8 long years. That's how long it took for Halo Wars to get a sequel. At first, my experience with this game was going well. But then Blitz pack after Blitz pack, missing content after greed, made what was going to be a no-question 10 out of 10 game into something else entirely. Of course, that's all Halo is today. It's something else. But now, it's beautiful. Halo Wars 2 Ultimate Edition is almost out, and so many questions linger in the minds of anxious Halo fans, RTS fanatics, and curious gamers. Does the game live up to the hype? Is the campaign and story a step in the right direction? Were the trailers and ads as deceptive as Halo 5's? Is the game fun, and is it worth it? And what about Blitz and the microtransactions? If you want the answers, you better get your ass out of the cryotube, take some Adderall, and we'll find out what type of Halo Wars game we woke up to. If you're more interested in my review of the campaign, then you can fast forward to this time here. But for now, we're gonna start with the multiplayer. And what can I say but wow, Halo Wars 2 knocks it out of the park with the gameplay. I couldn't play matchmaking because not many people owned the game at the time, so I can't tell you how well the servers work. But I'll be damned if I told you I didn't have a blast playing against the AI. And let me tell you, did that hype me up to play against real people. I'm ready to win, ready to battle, just need to figure out which button lets me teabag. Halo Wars 2 is rather simple when compared to other real-time strategy games. And in this case, that's not a bad thing at all, because the skill gap will be tremendous. There's so many ways to play, especially with teammates. So many leaders to use with different strengths and weaknesses, and badass powers that can change the tide at the snap of a finger. One of my favorites is the Grizzly drop-off that Sergeant Forge has. God, is that awesome. After playing through the tutorials and the first few levels of the campaign, you'll know everything you need to in order to achieve victory on the battlefield. But it's all about how you use that knowledge, and if you can use the tools and strategies appropriately. This game is very accessible. Just about anybody can pick up a controller and play. But it takes a true leader, a true military strategist, to know what units to build, when to scout the enemy, when to assert map control, when to be defensive or offensive, and knowing is half the battle. Now, one thing you're probably thinking about is the control. Real-time strategy games simply aren't meant for consoles. And let me tell you, the control is fluid. I did not expect it to be this good. Halo Wars 2 proves that it's possible to create a fun, awesome, real-time strategy game on consoles. However, the major flaw of Halo Wars 2 as a whole is not in what it has, but what it lacks. Like a theater mode. No, not a theater mode to rewatch cutscenes, but watch your own gameplay. I think having a feature like that is essential for a game like this, especially since Halo 3 pioneered it. This game also has no competitive rankings or playlists. Nothing. And I cannot wrap my mind around that. You see, with MCC, the game didn't launch with a ranking system at all. With Halo 5, the game launched with too much ranking system. And now, with Halo Wars 2, the game is launching with no ranking system. Why? Here I am, hyping myself up, practicing different strategies against bots, getting to know the game so I can mop the floor with the noobs, but there's no competitive rank that'll give me bragging rights, honor, glory, what being a leader is all about. Though it's not all bad, because daily and weekly challenges make a glorious return. And I quickly noticed that there's a large variety of them, and that'll give players something to shoot for day after day and week after week. And there is a way to brag and show off with your service record, which gives you a lot of interesting stats, as well as your win ratio. so at least there's something. It seems to me that this is the third Halo game in a row that's going to need serious post-launch support right out of the gate, and that just sucks. And the number of playlists, game modes, and maps seems very small. There are 8 maps, 5 playlists, and 3 game modes, not counting Blitz. Again, what's there is fun as hell, and there's a lot of depth to each one of these modes. I just wish there was more variety. But overall, the core multiplayer and gameplay, the most important part of any video game, is incredible, addicting, well-polished, and fun as hell. Hopefully there will be some updates that add those missing components and variety. Let's not forget, Overwatch didn't launch with a competitive ranking system either, but that didn't stop the fun factor or popularity of that game. Now, anyone who thought Blitz wasn't going to be pay to win, I'd like you to stand up. Now, everyone that's sitting down, point and laugh at how wrong those people are. Blitz is pay to win. No other way to put it. We even tested this. More powerful units have a blatant advantage over less powerful units, meaning opening more packs gives you stronger units than your opponent. If you can somehow convince me that isn't pay to win, I will write a full 10-page essay on the color blue. Blitz is pretty much the same as it was in the beta, though this time we have Blitz Firefight, which is exactly what it sounds like, seeing how long you can last against endless waves of enemies. The core gameplay of Blitz is very fun, intense, and customizing your deck, unlocking new cards is so damn satisfying. I love that strategic element so much, and it'll be interesting to see how the meta forms and changes in the months after release. I'd probably be addicted to this game mode were it not for several crippling flaws. 1. There is one map. I don't even need to say any more. I predicted this in my thoughts on Blitz beta video, and I'm not happy. 2. There is no variety. Each game has the same time and score limit, the same objectives, the same layout, with nothing to break up the monotony aside from the different leaders and decks. It's such a shame because I want to love it, but it's not something I'm going to be spending a lot of time playing because it's lacking so much. 3. There are no leaderboards, no way to compare with your friends or other people who has the best score, not even for the campaign missions. It absolutely boggled my mind when I, Spiteful, Sean from Forge Labs, and I got to round 47 in Blitz Firefight, thinking we'd be the top people on the leaderboards when the game came out, only to realize they didn't exist.
Is there a leaderboard?
There has to be a leaderboard. If there's points like that, there's got to be a leaderboard.
Hold on, let's try going co-op firefight and seeing if it's in the game menus. It'd be kind of dumb if there wasn't. Maybe it's on Halo Waypoint or something then. Maybe you have to look at them on there. Because there's got to be a leaderboard somewhere. Otherwise, what's the point in playing firefight and getting to a higher score?
Leaderboards are a great way to encourage people to play the game, to get the top score. Again, it's that fight for honor, prestige, rank. But that's not all. We got no XP or Blitz packs for playing Blitz Firefight. So the only reason you're gonna play it is for fun. But good luck having fun when you've played on the same map for the 100th time in a row. And I'd like to point out the store part of the game. Yeah, that feature in every AAA game now where you go to spend your real money. Notice how familiar it looks. It's basically the exact same setup from Halo 5, copied and pasted. I want to love Blitz, and I do enjoy it, but it's simply impossible to ignore the pay-to-win aspect and the lack of variety it has. I just hope they're able to optimize this game mode as quickly as possible. Now I'd like to highlight and quickly talk about some of the other parts of the game that the other reviewers might not touch on, like how good the soundtrack is. It's new, it feels like Halo, it works so well no matter what is going on, and every time I turn off the Xbox after playing, I hear that beautiful piano from the main menu in my head. If you're a longtime Halo fan, you'll be surprised by how many familiar sound effects you pick up. The overall sound design flows seamlessly with the rest of the game, and that is exactly what it should do. As far as glitches go, I'm not sure if there will be a day one patch to fix some of these things, but I did run into a couple issues. Very occasionally, campaign missions wouldn't load, sometimes an animation would glitch, and this typo right here. But one recurring bug that you'll immediately notice is whenever someone is talking in a briefing or in-game, the previous icon and text will flash for a fraction of a second. This happens every single time. But for the most part, the game doesn't suffer from any major glitches or anything that really jeopardizes the gameplay, so know that it is very well polished. The UI is crisp, clean, everything looks nice, and it's organized logically. Important stats are relayed to the player. It's all there. When the UI designers do things right, people won't be sure they've done anything at all. Now, before I show or talk about anything in the campaign that wasn't in the trailers, I'm going to let you know beforehand of any important spoilers. At this point, I'll be giving my review and opinions of the overall quality of the campaign and story, doing what I can to avoid spoiling what actually happens. So if you want to play Halo Wars 2 completely blind, but still want to know if the gameplay is good, skip to this time here. For everyone else, buckle up. So, you're all wondering, is the story as bad as Halo 5's? Is the marketing just as deceptive? And I will tell you right now, hell no. Because Cutter does get the car for $3K. And this is how. No, it's not even close. Halo Wars 2's story is a huge step in the right direction for the franchise, but I wouldn't build up your expectations super high, because the major issues for the campaign, like the rest of the game, is what it lacks. However, I'll tell you what this game doesn't lack, and that's character. No. Real character. I couldn't keep track of all the times I was playing and heard my units say some funny ass shit, literally bursting out laughing on multiple occasions.
How are we getting across that?
I heard there's this trick you can do with grenades. My advice is concentrate on the job at hand and try not to think of halos and forerunners and all that. It's too much.
Meep, out of my way!
And yes, there is fucking profanity in this game.
Move your sorry asses!
Holy shit, you bitches thought Halo was turning into a game made for goddamn children, didn't you? I can't give enough praise to the voice actors and writers for this. Every unit is charismatic in their own way. The graphics and animations they have are so sweet. Sometimes your Spartan or Honor Guard will do this in-game assassination that just looks so fucking cool. The in-game cutscenes actually look pretty good, and it has a graphical style that I really enjoy. On a side note, if you're a hardcore Halo fan, you'll definitely notice some familiar imagery and references to past games, like this achievement right here. And one of the greatest innovations that Halo Wars 2 brings to the table is a robust, highly detailed codex system. You earn entries by finding these Phoenix logs in the campaign, and accomplishing other things. You can read about anything in these logs, and it's all in the game. I can be a fucking nerd without leaving the game! But some of this stuff should have been better explained within the campaign itself. I'll get into this later. Now, Halo Wars 2 has one of the most incredible intros I've ever seen. It's dramatic, and Blur, as always, knocks it out of the park.
As I suspected. Nothing but a man.
Though they didn't create as many cutscenes this time around, the intro sets up interesting themes about the effects of being in a coma, what it's like to realize you and your entire race have been pawns in a scheme of power and control, overthrowing corruption, destroying your shackles and chains. Your crew is your family, and so on. The foundation is laid for some truly awesome storytelling. The Banished are shown to be an extremely potent threat that not even the Covenant could control at the height of their power. They're led by Atriox, a brute that doesn't mess around, and his top lieutenant Decimus. On the flip side, Captain Cutter returns, and this time he actually has personality, unlike in the original, with Professor Anders and Red Team. And let me tell you, Red Team is so freaking cool. Are you taking notes, Team Osiris? I had some friends over to play Halo Wars 2, and they played the first 2 missions, and I made sure to gauge how they were feeling about the game. And after one of the Spartans said something, my buddy laughed and he was like, "Man, I love these Spartans already." And that was a really good indication to me that Red Team is written pretty well. When someone who played the original Halo Wars, but knows nothing about Halo Wars 2, can look at these characters and be entertained and enjoy them within the second mission. All these elements are taking place in a brand new setting and time, 28 years later after the original. which makes any change to the way things look, the art style, acceptable in my eyes. And by God, does this game look beautiful. It seems the new and old art styles have combined to create something that appeals to the eyes of new and old Halo fans. Yeah, there's no nanobot bullshit that changed the armor of Red Team. The banished vehicles and units look so freaking cool, and it adds a very unique spin on the look and feel of the Covenant race's vehicles, and especially the Brutes. But for all the seeds of a good story that are perfectly planted, most of them never flourish into something truly spectacular. The dialogue and the way characters interact with each other is well written, but all too often the story favors plot exposition and strategic talk, rather than fleshing out the characters or some of the complex themes. And this is understandable, because real-time strategy games need that exposition. Personally, I think the way characters talk with each other is far more interesting than what is happening with the plot. I'm more interested to see how Decimus and Atriox's relationship is, rather than where Atriox has the bulk of his forces. I'm much more interested to see how Captain Cutter and the rest of the Spirit of Fire crew handle coming out of cryosleep for 28 years. In the Phoenix logs, it says Decimus secretly believes in the divinity of the Forerunners, and there's nothing besides that codex that hints or tells us about it. Halo Wars 2 has some really cool concepts, characters, and ideas. I just wish there was more time dedicated to flesh them out. I want to stress that Halo Wars 2 doesn't have a bad story. No, it is fantastic. But if it had that extra layer of depth, that extra bit of time dedicated to the characters, it would push it into the Halo 2 levels of storytelling.
Tartarus, the prophets have betrayed us. No, Arbiter! The great journey has begun, and the brutes, not the elite, shall be the prophet's escort.
To really see the inner workings of the Banished, to get a more personal view of Atriox as a character, and what his leadership means to the other brutes. Ending spoiler. I'll tell you right now, expanded material isn't necessary to understand the story. In fact, you could enjoy Halo Wars 2 without playing the original. But the biggest problem I have with the campaign, it's incomplete. That's right. The game ends on a ball-busting cliffhanger. If you didn't like the endings for Halo 2 or Halo 5, you're gonna hate this. I don't even understand what the ending is. Both Cutter and Atriox look at their strategic maps and that's it. There's no resolution. And if that's not enough, they attempt to tie in the story with the Guardians at the last minute. I don't think this was a time constraint issue, but rather a decision made to sell future campaign DLC, which is not only slimy, but it negatively affects the narrative. Although, the saving grace is the Codex, which has a lot of campaign logs that provide incredible insight into the story. Some of this stuff, guys, it's gonna blow your mind when you read it. Halo Wars 2 doesn't have complex, well-developed themes like Halo 2 and Reach. It doesn't have the strong character development of Halo 4. It doesn't have a fantastic, fitting end like Halo 3. But what it does have, that it shares with Combat Evolved and the original, is a fun, intense, and enjoyable ride from start to finish. So the story is pretty good, but what about the gameplay? Well, if you've been paying attention, you'll know it's incredibly fun. Won't spoil too much, but no doubt after you beat one mission, you're gonna be looking to play the next immediately. They offer unique gameplay elements and endless reasons to play them. You might go through the campaign and realize you didn't get all the skulls, so you go back. But you didn't beat it on Legendary, so you go back. But then you didn't complete all the bonus and optional objectives, so you go back. But you're still not satisfied with your score, so you go back. And then you notice you didn't get all the Phoenix logs, so then you go back. But then your buddy wants to play, so you go through the campaign with him, and you go back. And then you realize that you've been leveling up this whole time just playing the campaign, so you go back. The difficulty in this game is very fair. On normal, I had trouble in a few parts, and even lost a couple missions. So if I want to beat this game on Heroic and Legendary, I'm going to have to step up my game. and good challenge is one of the most important things in any video game, and Halo Wars 2 nails it. Over the summer, I binged all the StarCraft games and expansions, Warcraft 3 and the Frozen Throne, and Halo Wars. And I gotta say, I absolutely love good real-time strategy games. And if you love those too, and if you love Halo, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Overall, Halo Wars 2 is a fantastic game and a welcome new addition to the Halo franchise, and it's a worthy sequel to the original. Though the game is not without its flaws that mostly arise from greedy corporate decisions, the gameplay, cutscenes, art design, music, and control are all so phenomenal that it's worthy of a confident recommendation to all Halo and real-time strategy fans. I give this game a solid 8 out of 10. My friends, we all woke up to one hell of a galaxy. So what are your thoughts and opinions? Are you going to get Halo Wars 2? Why or why not? Whatever you're thinking, go down to the comments right now and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. If you want more Halo Wars 2 videos, then go check out my second channel. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. That's all I've got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace!